question is, it'd be fascinating to me if I actually had time to plan a conspiracy. I don't. The contract was signed on the 9th. The reason it wasn't on the council meeting on the 10th is I didn't physically have it. So it did come in here. The reason that we were working with Mr. Waddell was at a request of Ardith at the plant, because he was the engineer that did a lot of the primary engineering at our current plant, and a bunch of the stuff that we're working on at the plant is actually old stuff, not new stuff. And including the pumps that we have in the budget to be replaced was a project that he was working on previously with her. So the hiring itself basically was a request by her. He is working on the street project. So the reason I went on that council agenda is that's just when I finally had it together between him and the attorneys. He's been out and met with both Dennis and with Ardith, Dennis on the street project and that. The thing was done as an exception to the actual solicitation process because there's another exemption under the administrative rules for a contract under $100,000. And the contract being for $100,000 doesn't mean he gets paid $100,000. It's an hourly contract based on the work that's done. Dennis was extremely happy with the estimate for working on the street project. He's retired, so he's working out of the basement of his house. The reason that it's less cost is because there's no overhead, no employees, no anything. The reason that I chose him is I need, and Ardith and I need, to get the rest of the knowledge out of his head on the design and how the plant was designed to run. Now that we're looking at it 5 years later to see whether it actually was meeting what they wanted it to do, whether there's changes that can be made, and he has that knowledge. Any other engineering firm or somebody that comes in here to work on that wouldn't have it. My conversations with Dyer themselves, frankly, they didn't really show a lot of interest in continuing with us as a customer. I don't ask a lot of questions sometimes, but there was enough personal contact between some of the former elected officials and the bosses at the engineering outfit that contract's been expired since May of last year, and they haven't pursued working with us at all. Although they're being helpful now, they're letting us actually have access to records out of their databases and stuff that were actually created while John was there. So they're being fairly supportive of what we're doing. They just don't see us as a big enough cash cow to really want to put the effort into this organization. And right now, since John's just working part-time, retired, he's sold his principal interest in Dyer, so he was one of the principals in the company. So did it as an exception. If anybody wants to see it, I can show you all the emails between me and the city attorney asking about the exception. He reviewed the contract. It pretty much is a boilerplate standard contract, pretty close to the one that you actually had with Dyer. But there's nothing more than that. I think it's going to save the city a bunch of money in us doing it. But the contract itself, I would be really surprised. I don't see us using him all the way through to that $100,000. The $100,000 is a declaration on the exception to the selection process. And the city ordinance, as far as doing engineering, it was excluded from the rest of the ordinance for the city. So it is basically following the state law, but that state law does have two exceptions in it. One's the $100,000. The other one is actually a $250,000 exception that you can do with an attorney or with an engineer if that engineering outfit had been working primarily on a project that you had before and they had all the knowledge of it, so it was going to end up costing somebody more to go out and get another engineering firm. We could have kind of worked on either one, but I wasn't going to write it up for that much money because I knew we weren't going to come anywhere close to that.
But this is a not to exceed amount.
Correct.